Well guys, I figured I'd finally give you a full tour of what I call the Hillside garden. It's just an unassuming house by the look of it from driving down a residential neighborhood. But as you see here, I have a few flowers. You can probably tell which yard is mine as soon as you drive by. So give you just a little quick tour, a little walkthrough. Hope you guys enjoy it, and if you have any questions or want some more information about what you saw, just leave me a comment and I'll be happy to answer. So right here is just some gladiolus. There's some cone flowers here. Check out this giant spirea bush. If I can get this guy here. This thing is covered in bees. They're hard at work collecting pollen. Saw some butterflies here earlier. Yeah, I think I got this for $1 at Lowe's on clearance into the season, and every year it just gets bigger. I keep pruning it back after the blooms die off, and it's pretty awesome. The pink primrose, and I believe the yellow primrose over here, it might be called something else, I'm not sure, but you got the pink and you got the yellow. There's an iris up here. My yarrow plant is so big that I'm pretty sure a stray cat or something got inside because it kind of knocked it all down. It was this huge mass of flowers and everything. But yeah, over here, walking across, this is bee balm, lamb's quarters, more cone flowers, irises, and in the top there, the canna lilies with the red flower on them. This section here, I don't know why, is just an absolute jungle this year. Last year it didn't do so well, and I don't know what the difference is. I didn't add any fertilizer or anything different that I done for anything else, so I guess last year was just an off year. I'm not really sure, but this year looks promising. At this point in the year, these canna lilies were maybe 6 inches tall last year, but we've had so much rain and so much heat early in the season. These guys are probably pushing 3 to 4 feet already. Over here on top of the rock wall beside the fence, hibiscus. I got some columbine that have gone to seed. Elephant ears right here are just starting to pop up. Those were also gone on clearance for like 99 cents a bulb or something like that into the season. As you can tell, I don't like paying full price for things. I love growing things from seed, and I think it's just more enjoyable. But if you find something on clearance, you gotta take it. Hidden amongst the foliage is there's a ghost pepper here, ghost pepper here, ghost pepper here. Purple canna lily. This thing's awesome. Love this thing. These are all of these. These are lilies right here, about ready to start blooming. One of them right there. I believe this is the stargazer. I'm not sure. Whenever they bloom, I'll tell you. I don't remember. I have too many plants to really memorize where everything really is. Some dwarf hollyhocks right there. Another elephant ear popping up. Ghost pepper here. These are some hibiscus, and I didn't remember planting these until I just saw these the other day. I was wondering what they were, and I took some cuttings last year and just kind of stuck them in the ground to see what would happen, and apparently they took root. Yeah, so I'm going to dig those up and move them because I can't have these giant hibiscus things trailing over my wall here. It's my driveway, so I got to clear those out. 3 more ghost peppers hidden amongst the other stuff. This is a clematis, whatever. I had it on the fence, so it keeps falling off. I need to tie it up better, but it was covered in purple flowers. Look pretty awesome. These are the apricot peony flowered asters. These I grow from seed. I'm pretty sure I showed those in my early January, February when I was starting seeds indoors with the grow operation. So you might have seen these at one point earlier in their career, but they've graduated to outside and doing fine. So we're going to continue up the stairs to over here. And this is, like I said, this is the yarrow, and it has fallen down right here. Pretty sure it looks like a cat or something got in there. I don't know. Dutch iris, I think they are. Those have finished blooming, gone to seed. This is all black-eyed Susan from here all the way across to there. And if you wouldn't believe it, those were 5 little cuttings I got from my grandma. They're actually growing through her sidewalk, so she had me trim them back because pull them up because they were, in the walkway. And I picked them up, stuck them in some water, kept them alive a couple of days, stuck it in, and about 3 or 4 years later, here you go. This entire section right here is all black-eyed Susans from 5 little sidewalk refugees. Daylilies right here. Got some more lilies just right there along the side. Herbs and the thyme in this little decorative pot there. Peonies, Check out these black petunias we got. I guess they're like a dark purple. It's a pretty awesome color. Never saw those before, had to get them. More peonies. Those are more the purple coneflowers that are kind of wilting for the reason. At the moment, I'm not sure why. We'll have to investigate that. More coneflowers here. Now here's where it starts getting fun. These are my dahlias right here. And I did grow these from seed. They were just supposed to be just little guys. I've just kind of just grow them up. Millions of flowers on it. Bumblebees love these guys. Here's another ghost pepper down there. These are the calla lily. Another dahlia from seed. More calla lilies. These guys here have been here for years. Thought they were an annual, but they have just kept coming back and coming back. But there's a note on the dahlias here. They're not supposed to be hardy to my zone. Like I'm on the edge of zone 7 and zone 6, and everyone says dig up your dahlias. You got to bring them inside. You got to put them in sawdust or something. Keep it moist in your basement, or they're not going to survive. Well, guys, mine are doing awesome, and every year they get bigger and bigger. As a matter of fact, last year I had to pick these up and transplant them, make it more of a neater row, like you kind of see here. A little bit more organization because it kind of was looking a little haphazard and just unsightly there. So when I dug these things up, the tubers on these dahlias were enormous. So they're pretty happy where they're at. And I thought maybe transplanting them might affect them, put them in shock, and they wouldn't survive the winter. But they did, and this year I did something the right way and cut them back, pruned them so they didn't get so tall. And if you can see right there, getting ready to start blooming. So yeah, definitely be some dahlia updates. I love these guys. Here's one of my favorite parts. The pepper porch. So I love sitting on the front porch looking out over the flowers and everything, but right here I have pepper pots that go all along the edge right here to the right there, and by the time the summer's over they'll be as tall as the banister here. It makes pretty much a hedgerow. Coming across another pepper. This is actually a cherry tomato plant. I'm going to try to let it train it to go up this post here, so it might work, it might not, I don't know. This is one of my wild wild rare chilies. I don't remember the name at the moment. I think it's Salatum. I'll have to go back and look at my labels right now. Some more peppers, an aloe plant that needs a home, and another tomato plant that's, I'm going to try to vine it up. This one here. So yeah, making the best use of your space, which goes to show you, if this is all the room you had, you can grow stuff on your porch. Utilize what you have. Use the supports for your roof, or your porch roof right there, you know. But yeah, so check it out. So this is me, my favorite spot, sitting here on the porch. You know what I'm doing, I'm looking down, I'm seeing peppers, checking out peppers. You got the garden over here, totally blooming. But right here, these canna lilies. So by the time summer really gets in, these things will be probably eye level right about here. And they have these awesome, just the red, standard red canna lilies. But the awesome part is hummingbirds. Hummingbirds love those flowers. So I can sit right here. If I'm really still, I'll have hummingbirds, you know, 3 feet, 2.5 feet in front of me, just going at it, getting their nectar and everything from these flowers. That's pretty cool. It's one of the things I look forward to in the summertime every year. Just those hummingbirds coming back for this treat there. So yeah, always have a plan, always have a design. Everything needs to work together. Here's a shot from down the road there. It's my truck, don't look at that. Alright, so there you go. Pretty cool, right? Alright, let's go around to the back, to the other side of the house, and show you a little bit more. Alright, so this is what we just saw. Now walking down this way, we got some more flowers here. And this is a hibiscus that I transplanted over to the rock wall. And apparently I missed a little tiny piece of it because it has come back. So if anybody wants a free hibiscus plant, come get it, because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'll have to try to pawn it off on somebody or set it free. See what happens, I don't know. More coneflowers. These yarrow right here are massive. And unlike the ones over there that have fallen down, they should be growing straight up and down. So that's what makes me pretty certain a cat got in that other one there and laid down, took a nap, and just pushed everything down. This is, I believe, Virginia spiderwort. It's a semi-domesticated, but you still find it wild, running on streams and creek banks and things like that. It's got these purple, blue-looking flowers. Bees love this stuff. More Dutch irises that are done blooming. This is a clematis. It is vining up this makeshift trellis, which is just a rope tied up to the support beam up on the rooftop. But yeah, it goes all the way down to the ground. But yeah, so this is kind of cool because it's actually had a first flush of blooming and it's about to produce a second flush of bloomings. Very dark purple. This is a really cool color. Bleeding hearts, obviously one of my favorite flowers. I showed a video of that earlier in the spring, and that was a start from my grandmother, who I think she got a start from her sister. So yeah, keeping it going. Another clematis. These check out the blooms on this. It's like a furry centerpiece looking. But yeah, doing all right. Random hosta plant, another bleeding heart. My gigantic hosta that is just getting bigger and bigger and almost taking over my entire sidewalk. So I guess that's a good problem to have, but I got to figure out what I'm supposed to do with this, keeping it trimmed back or something. Something's got to happen. All right, taking a turn over here. Rain barrel, don't mind the mess. Hooked up through there into the rain. Collect the rain and use it in my garden. Don't mind this part. There's my grill. Say hi to the grill. This is my turtle. I showed you where I raised the worm compost in there. I keep the tarp on top because a raccoon or possum or something gets in there all the time, takes the lid off and tries to scrounge around for worms. So I did have a cinder block on top of that, but it was starting to push in the roof of the lid, I guess. So as soon as I put the tarp on it, they seem to have left it alone. So it may not look great, but it does what it needs to do. On this side of my house here, if it wasn't for the utility, the gas meter down there, I probably have a lot more going on, but you can't block the access, etc., etc. But these are my peppers. Let's do a quick walkthrough. That's a ghost. That's a ghost. This is, I believe, the red Incan berry pepper. Just as a contrast, I had nowhere else to put it. So these are all ghost peppers all the way down here till it gets into garlic. This is a Peruvian Inca pepper. Forget the actual definition. Hydrangeas I did from cuttings are growing fine there. This is garlic that should be harvested probably within the next month. Some sweet peppers in this corner. These are, stop myself, Saskatoon berries or service berries, growing in containers right there. And showing off my Japanese maples that I am growing from seed. Alright guys, now this right here you might think just looks wild and untamed, and well, it kind of is, but there's a story to that. I'd say about 3 years ago there was this makeshift little rickety retaining wall they had with some terracing timbers that rotted out and were falling down. There was a giant holly tree right there that was almost leaning up against my house, so I had to cut that out by hand. And because of the location I'm at, you can't get power equipment back here, so it's one piece at a time. Drag it all out to the street for the city. Thankfully they'll take it away and chip it up, whatever, but that was a very long, hard process. And because this bank was falling, literally falling like this way, falling that way, that was all done by hand, you know, one shovel, mattock at a time. So I actually had to straighten this hillside out. It's actually now about a 45-degree angle, maybe a little slightly more, slightly less. But it was just barren, hard, red dirt clay. No topsoil, nothing. So I first started planting some cover crops, just letting it go, kind of go to seed, let it redo itself. And I have, over time, built up at least enough that this is taking care of itself. I sometimes will have random plants that I have nowhere to put or have too many seeds I've started. I'll stick them out here just to let them go, and they do their cycle. Sometimes they'll reseed themselves and come back. Sometimes they don't. Here's an example right here. This is tiger lilies. Some columbines right here. These were some just extra plants I had. I kind of stuck them out here and they've reseeded themselves, doing fine. That's a malva. I don't know the real name for it, but yeah, it's got these cool pink flowers. That kind of resows itself. Every now and then you'll see pink flowers kind of popping up randomly. But yeah, so it doesn't look that great. I get it, but there's actually another positive to this this experiment is, you know, I got wildflower seeds put in there, but you'll see tons and tons of bees. Pollinators living. This is where the pollinators live. Okay, so it's always nice to have a wild part of your property to give the butterflies a place to sleep, somewhere for the bees to kind of nest or collect pollen, rest during the day, or whatever it is they do when they're not busy collecting pollen. I don't know. Okay, there's a bee. If I can get it. Nope, another one just flew right by you. See, right on cue. But yeah, so this is my wild area, but doing a little experiment because the deer destroy everything, as I'll probably tell you a million times in my complaining about the deer. Hopefully not get too dizzy. Right down here, I don't know if you can tell or not, there's a pepper plant hidden. Here's a pepper plant right there, hidden. And I got about about a dozen pepper plants randomly placed within all of the stuff out here. Just give it an experiment to see A, if they'll grow, and 2, well, just see how well they do without any kind of protection whatsoever. See if the deer leave them alone, or if they're eating, they're eating. If not, then, you know, hopefully we get something out of it. Not looking forward to a huge bumper harvest, but at least it's something. So moving along over here, this purple flower here is vetch. I use it as a ground cover. It adds nitrogen to the soil, so it's reseeded itself and reseeded itself. You know, it does fine. The bees love it as well. Here's my small little garden outside, my unprotected garden, I call it. There's the rue with a giant bee on top. I think it's a mason bee, quite honestly. Yeah, buzzing around, getting some pollen. Here's a pepper plant, got an eggplant. These are some basil plants, and I think some cucumbers. Cabbages are doing fine. Row of onions, some more herbs, cucumbers, yellow squash, and I think this is the gray zucchini variety. But what I've done, if I pick it up without getting stung, all right, go away. All right, right here, corn. A little bit of corn coming up here. This is a Dakota black popcorn. If the deer eat it, the raccoons take it, I'm not going to get my heart broken. I grew a lot of corn last year and it was doing great, and I got about 7 ears out of about 40 plants because nice beautiful plants, but the deer got to them, the raccoons pulled them off. It's a bit disappointing. So I'm trying to do pseudo Three Sisters garden. Got the squash here, and maybe the corn will be protected by it. The rue, the deer do not like. It's kind of a deterrent, so maybe they don't like the smell and they won't wander in. But you never know. Row of onions, row of cabbage. Again, deer do not seem to mind those at all. They haven't touched them, at least as of yet, and hopefully they don't. Moving over here is my experimental potato trial. You know, first year growing in this raised bed with potatoes, at least, and they're sprawling out, taking over everything, which is kind of now shading out the arugula, which is under there. These are some carrots. They're doing pretty good since we got some heavy rain lately. They've just probably tripled in size in the last 2 weeks. These are bulb onions, just a mixture. I had some Walla Walla, some Brunswick, some Elsa Craigs, and I think one other variety, and I just kind of mixed them all together, broadcasted them out, and whatever happens, happens. These are what's left of my turnips. I harvested the rest of them this morning, gave them to my grandparents. Make turnip greens, delicious. Hopefully I get one more harvest, but when you thin them out like this, it allows the smaller ones to kind of bulb up. As you can kind of tell, there's like just some little small bulbs in there, but now they're kind of thinned out, they're going to have a chance to kind of develop more. They were getting pretty crowded. Got some parsley, some leaf lettuce, and over here the green just bunching onions or scallions or whatever you call them. Get that being said, let's take the tour over here. Like I said, I love dahlias, so why not have a lot more? Now, this isn't the best location as it's under this crepe myrtle tree of my neighbors, but you got to put stuff where you got the space for it. Some more dahlias. These were grown from seed. This is actually a cactus style dahlia, if you can kind of see the label back here so I wouldn't forget what it is. There it is right there. Daylily. Some more dahlias here. I think that's a geranium. Now this dahlia here is getting kind of decimated by slugs. To put some powder on it, seems to be kind of recovering. But they didn't touch anything next to it, but just this one. For some reason, the slugs just seem to like that one. Another dahlia. Another dahlia. You're probably seeing a theme here. Okay, so these are all purple coneflowers right here, walking up the hillside. This is a Japanese ornamental grass, which was like 3 little cuttings that, and much like the black-eyed Susans, decided to spread everywhere, which is kind of cool because I like this grass. It's pretty sweet looking. Another dahlia I forgot I even had. That's kind of just popping up right there. Peruvian daffodils, astilbe, and another dahlia. Ghost pepper plant out the experimental. See if the deer leave it alone. See how it does kind of out of a garden area right against the back wall here of my property. Another dahlia. and I really don't remember planting that one. So I'm sure I did. I don't know. My ginkgo tree, the Osage orange. I grew these all from seed, by the way. Another ginkgo tree, Osage orange, lilac bush, another ginkgo tree. This is I'll say paper birch. It's actually kind of growing in the sidewalk. There was a giant tree and it kind of put out runners, and it was kind of growing in the sidewalk of this like bank or something like that. So being me, I just kind of pulled up what I could, and lo and behold, it survived. And the deer actually will nibble on this one quite a bit. So it's kind of like a miniature, kind of like a bush. Actually, doesn't look like a tree at all. Another lilac bush right here. And you kind of go to the corner shade kind of garden. This doesn't get a lot of moisture because the tree's above it, but I do have some irises in here that did bloom, that did fine. There's some oregano, more irises. This is mostly just irises that I leave unattended. The deer seem to, what they'll do is they'll come down this rock wall, they jump down right through here, they run across here, and jump over the fence and keep on their way. I don't know why, but that's just how they travel. This little safety zone right here for them. So anytime I try to plant something here, the deer just trample it, and it doesn't get much rain. So I just kind of let this be just kind of a ornamental. I don't try to fool with it too much. Some bushes, and then we get to the greenhouse, compost pile under netting. So this is kind of the view from the top of my yard here. Got the raised beds there, got the greenhouse, got the garden behind it. We're gonna walk in just a quick, not give you a full tour, but just kind of show you what's going on. So we have, you know, rows and rows and rows of peppers, all kinds. I will make an actual pepper only video going to all the varieties I'm growing. Don't worry guys, that will happen. This is just a broad overview of everything I have going on my property here. More tomatoes, more peppers, more seeds over here. These are my tomatoes. It is Memorial Day weekend, and I already have, if I can get a look at this, down here I have 2 cherry tomatoes that are just turning orange. Yeah, this is May 25th, 26th. I've never had tomatoes this early. This greenhouse is making things just blow up. It's awesome. More peppers, row of some beans that go back through there, and against the wall is a cucumber plant. I'm about to retire this table, take it out of the greenhouse. Everything's kind of potted up and it's really just kind of in the way now. There you go, that's where I do all my transplanting, things like that. So there you go. So there you have it guys, that's the Hillside garden. That's everything I have to offer. I'll show you what I have. So that being said, you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Get out there, enjoy some gardening. Hopefully the sun's shining on you and you're able to do something nice, put a little something beautiful out in the world, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.